Hi everyone, it's David here. Welcome to the first video on my brand new YouTube channel. The purpose of this channel is to hopefully provide some comfort and assistance to those of you who are struggling a little, or maybe like me, you've done a lot of soul searching and you sort of come out empty-handed, in which case this channel is for you. Please stick around. In this first video, I want to discuss what I mean by loneliness and being alone, and why so many people are struggling with it. And then I will try and offer some advice on how to deal with it. So to start off with, the loneliness that I'm referring to isn't specifically the lack of all human contact. Rather, it's the lack of sufficient closeness in relationships to enjoy and experience. I believe that this is something that everyone will experience at some point, and it's something that must be dealt with at your own pace. What I mean by this is that instead of rushing out and grasping at the first person who offers you closeness in the form of a relationship, you need to exercise restraint and caution as if you were not alone. Now, this can be difficult because, as inherently social creatures, loneliness is something we want to avoid. So it's natural to make sort of unwise relationships happen when you're alone. Anyway, with that warning out of the way, I want to take a moment to try and convince you that loneliness in itself is not a bad thing all of the time. Now, it might be the most painful, gut-wrenching experience that you can imagine, especially when it seems everyone you know isn't alone. But being alone is excellent at building you up. When you're not alone, other voices drown out your own voice to the point where your voice, the most important one, is no longer heard. And because of this, rash decisions are often made which wouldn't have been made if you were alone in these circumstances. My point with this analogy is that being alone is the best place to be if you want to get your thoughts, life, or character in order. Loneliness has a purpose, despite the fact that it feels like the most purposeless experience that we can fathom while we're experiencing it. But why are so many people alone right now? Well, in my opinion, it's a mix of many things. Firstly, I just want to speak to the men for a moment, because loneliness is prevalent in men and women in different amounts. I think this is because women are much more likely to be emotionally vulnerable with their peers, and so can foster closer connections much more quickly. Anyway, guys, this is why I believe that loneliness is so prevalent amongst us. Many of us have had bad experiences being made fun of for being vulnerable in the past under the guise of banter. I know this has happened to me many times. And as a result, we've sort of closed ourselves off from the dangers of speaking our feelings. As children, our threshold for speaking openly was naturally lower, and so it was easier for us to make friends. And then as we matured and became damaged by being vulnerable, we've closed ourselves off to others. And now what we long for in a relationship with another person is closeness and openness, and we no longer have that. So how do we combat this? Well, as I previously said, there's no reason why being alone is a bad thing. Feel free to disagree with me, but understand that when recognized and put to work, loneliness can go from a thorn in your side to a useful benefit. But that's not why you're here. My main advice to combat loneliness is this. You must learn to be honest with peers from minute one of meeting new people. I know this will be incredibly difficult at first, especially if you haven't done anything like this for a while. But it is the way to foster a close relationship with someone. I can't stress this enough. Vulnerability in a relationship, romantic or platonic, is a good thing. Don't keep things at surface level, or you will be stuck with acquaintances talking about stuff like the weather for the foreseeable future. I'd like to end this video by giving a short testimony about my own experiences considering loneliness. I think seeing as I am the definition of alone right now, it can benefit some of you to hear it. Now, I'm 19 years old, and 6 months ago, I left home to move to a different city for university. None of my close friends came with me. Barely any of my acquaintances came with me as well. I moved quite a long way away. And in these 6 months, I found nobody who I felt like I resonated with. And nobody, as far as I know, has felt the same way about me. And in a way, I feel like a failure. I feel as if I should be doing better socially, and I've never been extroverted in any way. And I should be making friends with every person I meet, or more people at the very least. But there is a freedom in loneliness that is unattainable in any other way, that has allowed me to think clearly and freely about the decisions I'm making without the bias of second opinions. So in a strange way, I truly believe that being alone has been excellent for me, despite the fact that I long for someone to confide in. Anyway, that's all I have to say on the topic of loneliness right now. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any advice for others concerning this topic, please leave it down there as well. Also, let me know if there are any topics that you're struggling with that you'd like some assistance on. I'm here to help. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for your time.